morning. Good morning. It is Sunday, March 19th, 2023, and we are here today on Sunday Sermon. I know it takes a few minutes for people to find us, but that's okay. I'm going to do my normal spiel as we jump on here in the morning. So if you're brand new, you're just now hearing this. But if you have been around for a while, you hear this every time I go live. I am live in a couple of places. I'm live on YouTube. So if you're watching me over on YouTube, please hit that bell, the subscribe button, and the thumbs up. If you're here on Facebook, please let me know where you're watching from, whether it be my personal page or the VIP page for Hometown Hippie. And as you jump on here, say hello, tell me where you're watching from, and drop us a grateful fed in the comments. We are happy to have you today. Good morning, Melanie Lewis, back from the Sunshine State. So excited to see you back. Make sure you're jumping on today, tagging a friend, hitting the heart button, the like button. If you can do that, it would be very, very, very helpful and grateful. I've raised my laptop up so that my angle is a little bit better on my camera, so you're not looking here at my third and fourth chin today. It is also Sunday, and as you notice on Sundays, the hair is up. I give myself one day off of washing this so it doesn't dry out and fall out. Yes, finally home. So excited. Thank you so much, Melanie, for all of the beautiful comments. If you are watching me today, please do the things below. Say hello. Tell me where you're watching from. Where in the world are you today? It costs nothing to say hello and tell me where you're watching from. And as you can see right here coming through the thing, it says just drop us a hashtag Grateful Fed, like our friend Melanie has just done. Drop us a Grateful Fed in the comments. Good morning, Elizabeth Clark from Keysville, watching over on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in this morning. We've been thinking about y'all a lot, and I have been I have all kinds of little talismans and things down here today. Not talismans, but divination tools, I guess you would say. Last night, I have my notes. Good morning, Stacy McCambridge. I'm glad you're here. Grateful Fed in the house. We come live with these Sunday sermons every week. I have Wake and Bakes. I have all these different lives throughout the week. And Sunday sermon is the one that is the most dear to my heart, and is the one that basically it's what it's all about, right? It's what it's all about. I'm going to be emotional today, and I'm going to apologize in advance. I have my tissues ready. I'm going to encourage each and every one of you to grab yours. I also am going to ask our community to do me a favor right now, and I need the hearts to go out, and I need us all right now. Heather sent me a picture, Heather Johns. So if we can start pounding on the love button or the thumbs up button or the care button even. Heather's face is super swollen today. She had a dental situations going on. They've got her some medicine, and she's laying down today watching us from the bed. I'm going to do a little Reiki on Miss Heather when we get done here because she needs it. And y'all know that she is forever holding space for us. She is forever sending the energy that she has, that reserve energy that she has. Even sometimes when I think she doesn't have the reserve energy, she always holds it for each and every one of us if we need it. So I'm going to ask that each of us today send Heather some whoosh heart energy for healing of her face, for some relief from that pain. We all know how bad toothaches can be. They are one of the worst pains. I swear, toothaches, ear aches, they're just that throbbing, you can't get rid of them pain. I knew that was going to be like this today. Very rough, emotional last 2 weeks. I knew that was good. So Melly's like, I got my tissues ready. I'm ready. But I'm here. Thank you. I just want to make sure we're sending Heather that love energy because she needs it, and she always returns it to us. So as a community, I'm asking us together to send out some extra love. If you have the capability today, I'm asking that you hold space for Heather and her feeling better. And we're gonna hold that space today. I also realized I have no earrings on, and that's a problem for me today. For some reason, it feels weird. So, as I said, Sunday sermon is the one that it's all important to me. And last night, there's Andy Stanley. I know that people are going to make fun of me for this, but I watch him every Saturday night, or I try to. And usually the nights that I catch him, or the mornings that I catch him, I guess you would say, which he comes on at 1 o'clock in the morning, right after Saturday Night Live. So I'm like, a little sin, a little saint, right? That's what I say all the time. If you don't sin on Saturday, what are you going to church for on Sunday, kind of thing, right? So you watch Saturday Night Live, then he comes on after this great message, and we both interpret the messages that we get differently. His sermon normally invokes something from my angels, guides, and helpers. I must have in my spirit guide team, I must have a preacher in there who likes to preach hellfire and brimstone. I'm going to tell y'all a little something that I pulled out of the depths of my brain and the depths of my memory base. And we're going to talk about, it's going to be an emotional day. I know it's going to be an emotional day, but it's going to be okay, right? So as I was preparing, good morning, as I was preparing for today's Sunday sermon, the last couple of days, I have really, last couple of days has been big emotions for me. And I do not know why, right? I don't know why. There's a lot of irons in the pot right now, which a lot of you know. I'm going to pull my chair up because I feel like I'm sitting on the ground. My chair, I think it just continuously lowers my fat butt, like pushes it down. But there's been a lot of big irons in the pot lately, right? And I have been, I don't know if anybody else, can I get some hallelujah amens if anybody else does this? Has anybody else ever had like a 3 to 6 person argument, but all those people are you? Like you take every side of an argument that can be taken and you justify, and you just kind of go through in your brain and like kind of just have a big like battle royale in your brain of like how a problem should be solved. Anybody else have like go through something in their head and like just, I mean, every ugly thing you can say to yourself, every justification for someone's bad behavior to you, everything that just everything everywhere all at once. Like anybody see that movie? Like everything everywhere all at once inside your brain. Anybody? So I see Selena says amen. I see Melanie says yes. Can anybody else relate that they just kind of like live inside of their head and you feel like you battle it out every day. My ego fights me hard. Yeah. And last night when I turned on Andy Stanley, his topic was integrity. And I am so all the time, right? I am, what you say, all the time, Stacey said, I am nothing if not my own worst enemy. Melanie Lewis, been that way, been that all the way, especially since last week, cried a lot of tears recently, right? Selena says constantly. So I know I'm not alone in this. So I know that I'm talking, and I asked before I came on here, I said, I called in my angels, guides, and helpers. I called in my ancestors. I called in my guardian angels. I'm calling in my animal guides, every guide I have, because when we second guess ourselves, when we doubt ourselves, when we battle ourselves, when we don't stand in our integrity, when we don't stand in our power, right? We are denying the divine. We're denying the divine. When I say that I try to operate from this place of integrity, but then the fear and the ego and all these things creep in and they try to make me feel some kind of way about myself, right? And as I say, I am a subscriber of Namaste. And the way that I have been taught, I guess, right, is that Namaste means the divine in me recognizes the divine in you. And all these little catchphrases have been coming up in my head, and they're just coming up, right? To err is human, but to forgive is divine, right? But we will take that message, we will apply it externally to other people, right? Oh, that person made a mistake. They erred, they hurt me, whatever. But I am told that to forgive them is divine. right? Um, that person that I love can mess up. And it's my responsibility to forgive them. That's how I reach divinity, by forgiving, right? To err is human, but forgive is divine. We never apply that. We are human and we are divine. The divine in me recognizes the divine in you, right? And I believe the only way to reach divinity is by forgiveness. But yet I refuse to forgive myself for my mistakes, for my errors, for my humanity. Anybody else been there? Anybody else? Maybe you have a cheating spouse. Maybe you have a best friend that lies to you or talk shit about you, or a family member that does just not do the right thing. An employee, coworker, boss. Anybody else? Can I get a hallelujah, amen? Like, other people mess up, and to err is human. It's okay, you mess up. I embrace your error. Don't beat yourself up about it. We all make mistakes. How many of you have ever given that advice to your best friend, your kids? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Anybody else? Anybody else ever tell somebody else? We all make mistakes. It's perfectly fine. I love you anyhow. It's okay. Right? But let yourself, even mentally, like in those fights, right? In those arguments, inside your brain, still not forgive yourself, still not obtain your divinity through acknowledging your humanity. Right? Embracing your divinity by acknowledging your humanity, allowing your humanity. Understanding that before your soul came into this incarnation, this timeline, this meat suit, whatever you want to call it, right? You signed up for this. You said, I want to experience everything that humanity has to offer. The good, the bad, the ugly, the ups, the downs, the yin and the yang, the highs and the lows, the ebbs and the flows, right? The ebbs and the flows, the highs and the lows. I thought we can do a little like enchantment thing here, right? Right? I'm a lot of song. I am a small business, right? I am a human and fuck up's what I do. And if you care to take, we'll all fuck up with you. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, right? Everyone's allowed to not do things right sometimes, right? And it's so funny because walking in trust, walking in faith, is what we have to do. And we have to remember that to err is human and to forgive is divine. And we are both. We are all of that in a bag of chips, right? I'm gonna look at these messages real quick, then I'm gonna come back to my set because I get sidetracked. So I'm trying to finish my thought to not be so scatterbrained so that everybody's following. Not everybody has my brain that goes bloop, 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 like a pinball machine. So I'm trying to be more succinct because that's one of the things that I beat myself up on. I go back and I watch my lives and I get into the moment and I forget what I'm doing. And I don't feel like I'm delivering the messages that y'all need to hear. I don't feel like I have a right to be live. Like, I'm telling y'all, when I tell you when I'm pointing this way with this finger, you feel like I'm pointing at your forehead, like Tammy's talking to me today. Stacy said the other day, she's like, why do I feel so called out? I'm like, girl, I'm calling myself out. If the finger's pointing at you, the thumb's pointing at me, right? I'm right here with you. Melanie says, I had to make some hard choices, some hard choices and hard decisions. Fought some horrible fights with myself, lost and gained, lost myself, lost control in ways I had never done before. I'm fighting harder to do just that. Forgive, let go, not carry the weight of others, and now trying to teach myself the same lessons to not beat myself up. Exactly. So, I appreciate that. I've been through much, but don't let that hurt define you. To err is human and to forgive is divine. And we need to remember that we are both human and divine at the same time. We're divinely human. We are divinely human. But if you're going to extend that grace and you're going to see the divinity in others, right? The namaste, the divine in me recognizes the divine in you. But to be able to practice namaste, you must first be able to recognize the divine within yourself, right? And that's why we're still stuck on this root chakra energy work, right? We are working on this energy chakra. We have not moved to the sacral. We've not moved anywhere else other than the root. We're already in March. We're still on the root because the root is the primary chakra. It's the foundation, right? If the bones are good, the house doesn't crumble. We've got to have that I am, that I am chakra fortified. We have to recognize the divinity, the humanity, and we have to stand in that power. We have to sit in the cradle of our root. We have to be grounded. I am centered and I am grounded. And when you are centered and you are grounded, right? When you are centered and grounded, you understand the namaste. You understand there's going to be good, the bad, the ugly. You accept it all with grace, with gentleness, ease, and grace, right? The sermon last night was about integrity. It was about integrity that Andy Stanley was talking about. And it's why we're where we're at today. And I'm gonna have sips coffee. And the messages that I had written down, the message that I have down is, and this is, I don't know, these are I'm gonna read to you my bullet points, and then we're gonna fill in the blanks today, okay? So across the top, right before I came live, and I tell y'all I'm clairaudient, right? And what clairaudient means is that when you're talking about your clairs, your intuitive gifts, whatever you want to call it, a lot of us have like that gut instinct, right? That knowing, like the vibes just feel weird and funky. Some of us have a clairvoyance, a clairseeing, like they see, like, kind of like dreams, whatever, visions, what I call them. But for me, it's very much a hearing. I'll hear a song. It'll follow me around. We've talked about this in the past on past sermons. God, universe, source, whatever your words are, we don't yuck anybody's yum. Whatever your words are, communicates with me through, because I'm a talker. I think it's oral. It's like how I know that's what I do. Yo, what's up? Yo, let me think about this. Yo. I see Facebook user. I have no other technology open. For some reason, I'm picking up intuitively that is my friend Kendall. And if I'm right, please tell me if I'm right or not. It says, yo, tell me if that's Kendall. I feel like that's my friend Kendall. I don't know. Just that yo made me feel like it's Kendall. I don't know if that's the case or not, but I could be wrong. I could be right. You may be right. I may be crazy. Billy Joel has been talking to me a lot lately. But right before I came home with the knowing, I heard in my head, I heard, everybody hurts sometimes. It's my sister. It's Amy. Yo, then you need to stop typing if you're driving. So stop that. I don't know why I thought it was Kendall. It sounded like yo. It is yo. It's what it always says to me. My sister never says yo. So that's interesting. So good morning, my sissy. The song I heard, the thing that I heard is everybody hurts sometimes. And I'm like, I wonder who that is about. And I was like, oh, it's talking to me, right? Because I don't like that. I don't like getting my feelings hurt. I'm like, why is that hurting my feelings? I should take nothing personally, all the things, right? So when that song came through this morning and I was sitting there like, why is this coming through? And I was like, oh, because just like we are supposed to forgive ourselves, right? We are supposed to accept the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? We signed up for every piece of it. Everybody hurts sometimes. And being hurt and being sad and being in that place does not take you outside, does not take me. This is a message for me, outside of my integrity. It's not saying that I'm doing something wrong. It's saying that everybody hurts sometimes. And the hurt is a part of the journey as much as anything else. So the first little bullet point I have was everybody hurts sometimes. And like I said, I'm going to go through these. I'm going to stop putting so much emphasis on them. And I'm going to come back and fill in the blank. So the things that came through to me, the little channeled messages that came through to me this morning, where I have them right here in this little bullet points here. Everybody hurts sometimes came through. This is something that will probably be a message in like 6 weeks, and I'll have a whole nother sermon regarding this paper because y'all have been here and seen that happen. But the channeled messages that I have said, everybody hurts sometimes. Have you ever stepped outside of your integrity to help someone trust you? ? Keeping your integrity even when it costs you something or everything. Working in trust, walking in faith. Stop putting your wants in front of what is the highest and best for yourself and the collective. And woo, right? So everybody hurts sometimes, first bullet point. And then have you ever stepped outside of your integrity to help someone trust you? Now, this was something that was talked about on last night's Andy Stanley at 1 o'clock in the morning that I stayed up to watch. It was talking about how, have you ever lied to help someone feel better, basically, right? Have you ever stepped outside of your integrity to help someone trust you to kind of relieve or calm some fears or some anxiety? And whenever that came through last night, I did not journal it out, which I should have, but I was also medicated and comfortable in my chair. And my phone was charging, so I was not ready to type like I should have. I usually take pictures and screenshots and type some things. And I'm trying to see if I did do a little bit, because I did grab my phone, look at my pictures real quick, because I know it was 2 a.m. Oh, I grabbed some screenshots, but of something else. Okay. So can I get an amen, hallelujah, thumbs up, something, got you in the comments? And that was really interesting to me. It's like, have you ever stepped outside of your integrity to help someone trust you? And then he went in to explain that, talking about, have you ever, this is an example why it came up for this specific thing, right? It's kind of like not really lying, but it's kind of like padding the resume. Padding the resume is what he was talking about. So basically, you might frame something you've done in a more favorable way, or to make it seem more important than it was, in an effort to get something that you needed, right? So for example, if you worked at a job, and on your resume, maybe your job was just like answering the phone at a place, but you had to answer the phone and take a message. So you wrote ability to multitask, you know what I mean? Or like having to do multiple tasks at once, that kind of thing, right? And it's not about like being a big old liar and being like, oh, I can do this, and not having any clue. It's talking about those little bitty, little intricacies that we do, where we try to show ourselves in the best light. It's kind of like the thing I always talk about when somebody like blames the bank for their like not having any money. Like, you're overdrawn at the bank and it's the bank's fault. I'm like, it's not. The way that you become overdrawn is that you spend more money than you have. And that's just the truth of the matter. That's just how that happens, is that you spend more money than what you have. And then sometimes you try to play it to the edge, and the bank maybe processed something before, and that's not the bank's fault. That is the fact that you played that to the edge. But versus saying, hey, I was tight on money and I played it to the edge, right? Putting on a little spit. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. Putting a little spit shine on it, right? Versus being able to say that, right? We have to like shine it up, put a little spit shine on it, right? You could put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig, right? So the world has kind of taught us that it's okay, right? The little white lies, right? It's not really a lie, right? You're just kind of telling it different than it was. And again, when you are having those internal battles with yourself and you are dealing with these interrelational situations where someone else has maybe not been in integrity, those little things like that, right? Trying not to be accountable. Yes. Those little pieces and parts like that are the things that we hold on to because we know that truth, right? We live in that truth. We know that maybe that job was not as like fancy as we try to put it on to be, or that our responsibilities. That's just a good example. Like with this, it's a good metaphor, like a resume kind of thing, or a job, right? Because we do want to go into an interview or anything we do for like getting an employment thing with our best foot forward, right? We want people to think we're going to step outside of our true integrity a little bit to get someone to trust us, because we are justifying that it's to the highest and best of everyone. It's like, I can do this job. I'm a good fit. Let me do what I need to do to get this, and then it'll all be fine. Anybody? Can I get a hallelujah, amen, if that makes sense? We've all been there, right? So when he said that out loud, when he said the first question he puts on the board was, and he was like, have you ever lied to get somebody? And he said it a little differently. I like to use the word integrity, right? That's my thing, is that I try to walk in integrity. But we all err. We all err. And what we do is all these little times we keep a scorecard. Anybody else keep your own personal scorecard? Like Tammy 10, the world 35, right? Like I'm getting my ass whooped right now. But have you ever, we keep our own little, we know all, we hold on. And our ego grabs onto these little things like, ooh, I can use this later to keep us little, to keep us scared, to keep us small, to keep us in our place, to keep us in places we don't belong because it's comfortable. These are all the little things that I can use to puppeteer, to puppeteer. We're doing it subconsciously, right? All those little things that we're thinking of, because when someone else is not being the person they are, then our ego reminds us that we're not always the person that we should be either. And that we don't deserve anything better than what we're in right now, because we do the same damn thing. And who are we to judge? Anybody? Hallelujah, amen. Melody's like, yep, been there, right? Everybody else. Now, is that wrong? Is that right? Here's what I'm telling you, right? Putting a little lipstick on the pig, or putting a little spit shine on it. Sorry, y'all, my chair is driving me absolutely bonkers. I cannot stand like the lowering of the chair. I'm going to have to get a new one. Don't take accountability because we don't want to see ourselves like that, right? No, what I am saying is that we are not it's not about it. And I get what you're saying about being accountable, right? I get what y'all are saying, and everyone is going to interpret these messages how they are supposed to interpret them, right? But what I am saying is that people pleasing, with our people pleasing self, right? With your people pleasing self, we take so much accountability, is what I am saying. We take those times when we are putting a little spit shine on it, and those are the reasons, and those are the things that we are telling ourselves why we're bad people, why we don't deserve the forgiveness, while we are deserve the person who might lie to our face about something giant, because we may have said that we multitasked when we didn't, or we might have said that we had waiter experience when we really didn't, right? When I just want this job and I really don't have the experience for this job, or whenever I really want to get on this contest, or I really wanted this, or I really wanted that, right? But the next thing we had on here, right, is like help someone trust you, to help someone trust you, because you know that you're supposed to. And then I'm going to tell you all this. Not only for jobs, but how many of you in new relationships, when you're meeting new people for the first time, maybe it be a love relationship, a friend relationship, before you really get to like know that person, accept that you're not perfect, but you can always do better, right? You can always do better. And that's what the next thing is talking about, right? Because we've all done it. We step outside of our integrity, help someone trust us, because it's like, okay, if they hear about that, if they hear about that I bounced a check, they're going to think that I'm bad with money. They're going to think all these bad things. So even when we're starting new friendships, not about just a job, right? Not just about a job. Those are the times where we step outside of our Northern Star integrity to help someone trust us. Right? So whenever we are going through that process and we start finding things out about other people, even if they are red flags and they are things that you don't align with, how many of us have stayed in relationships, friendships, whatever, jobs, partners, whatever, for longer than we should because we feel like, well, how are we any better? We did the same thing in the beginning. Even if ours was something as simple as, I didn't date that person because, what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter. We hold on to it. What I want you to know, right, is to err is human, to forgive is divine. And that forgiveness needs to be allowed to yourself as well, right? Now, talking about integrity, about boundaries, about those, that's what the message was this morning, right? Now, let's talk about keeping your integrity, right? Keeping your integrity when it costs you something or everything, right? On the flip side of that, right? Have you ever stepped outside to get what you wanted, to get someone to trust you, right? But how much have you ever been able to stay within your integrity when it's going to cost you something, right? Maybe it's going to cost you everything, but it's the right thing to do. Because I struggle with that on the regular. And I'm going to tell you, this is where the walking in trust and the walking in faith is, right? As I change the menus up, as I say, I'm closing the membership down. My integrity when I started this business was honestly, it was to create a community of like-minded individuals who could support and uplift one another and create a network of people who were there for one another because the world is an ugly, dirty, gross place. One of the things that brought us together was our love of a special plant, right? A special plant, plants over pills. And I started on my Facebook journey, my social media journey. I'm going to cut this fan off because I got hot all of a sudden. On this journey because I fell down. I was not within integrity. I had not taken care of myself. I was killing myself slowly with eating, with smoking cigarettes, with being negative, with being ugly to people, with being jaded, with being a smart ass, with being stuck up, with being egotistical in a bad way. I was in a very ugly, dark place. And I literally had a dark night of the soul awakening when I was like, either I'm going to blow my brains out or take enough pills that I don't wake up, right? I'm going to smoke 6 packs of cigarettes. I'm going to take a handful of my Valium and my gabapentin and just go to sleep and act like I just went to sleep and something happened, or something's got to change because I don't want to wake up in the morning. I hate my life. I hate everybody in it right now, including myself. That's who I hated, was me, right? I hated myself. I was ashamed of walking outside of my integrity. I was embarrassed by the company I kept. Nothing and everything was awful. I hated it all. And when I had my come to Jesus or whatever you want to call it moment, right? Like it's either get busy living or get busy dying. And I started this journey and I started helping myself with cleaner eating, with surrounding myself with positive people, with sorry, y'all. With the coming to terms, right? Coming to terms with the fact to err is human, but to forgive is divine. And it took a lot of forgiving, a lot of going into the dark cave, and people have done that exercise know, and sitting across from nobody other than myself. And doing the forgiveness exercise for myself. And then saying to myself that, hey, there's other people who you need to go ahead and realize, I'm like, nobody causes me trauma. Nobody has that kind of power over me. Like, apparently they do. And I had to be vulnerable and all of that stuff. Because everybody hurts sometimes, right? And learning to be vulnerable with myself. And if you are having trouble with that vulnerable piece, I'm going to encourage you to watch Brene Brown on Netflix, her vulnerability special. Um, Facing your ugly, knowing it's a part of your experience, not the whole existence, right? Getting my feet in the dirt, getting grounded, centered, and divine, right? And this whole thing started with my journey of plants over pills. And this social media platform, not this one specifically, but mine, if you're watching my personal page, was a food journal, was an accountability place, because that's the entire world. And I heard something, and I want to share this with you all. I was listening to a book called Girl, Wash Your Face. Girl, Wash Your Face. And the author was saying that, talking about integrity and talking about being as good as your word and trusting people, right? And I didn't trust myself, so I didn't think anybody else ever could. When people started like reaching out to me about, hey girl, you're an inspiration. You've been doing this, you've been doing that, you've been doing this. I'm like, I'm not an inspiration. I just needed to lose some weight. You were my accountability, but thank you for saying that I'm helping you all, right? I didn't know. I still don't see it. I feel like I'm just Tammy talking to y'all and y'all are helping me. I get overwhelmed by the testimonials. Like I was talking about, I thought the testimonials were going to be like, hey, I was able to do this. I did not. I'm going to tell y'all this. I appreciate, and I will stand in the power knowing that I have done the work, right? I have done the work, and I'm not going to negate that there's divine in me, there's divine in you. And through me allowing divinity to saying and opening up to being a more clear and perfect channel, to trusting and walking in faith, which is what I'm going to talk about right here, right? Need a minute. Thank you for allowing me to be of service to each and every one of you in whatever way it is. My intentionality was about, what is your story? And I love your stories, and they are beautiful. They are beautifully written. Some of them I had no idea about that's how you felt. It's amazing. I thought it was going to be like, hey, try the lemon pound cakes out. They did this. Or if you meditate and go check out this or whatever. But thank you. God has a plan, and I am surrendering to it. And I encourage you to do that. So when I started this journey about plants over pills and this platform, it was really about food medicine and plant medicine. And I saw COVID happening, and I just wanted to, I needed you as much as you needed me. I'm a talker. I was working from home. I was in my house. I needed a place to have like a video diary, an oral narrative of what I needed to say out loud, a sounding board. So for all of the times that y'all are telling me that these Sunday sermons and that these lives and these things are, something you need to kind of whatever they do for you all, know that they are, I feel very selfish, because I feel like they're very much for me. Like they're very much like it's my therapy session. Like y'all are my therapist, and I'm just talking out loud, and we work through it together, right? I love that. You help me fill my cup so I can pour into others. And each and every one of you are what fills my cup up, right? The community fills me up on a regular daily basis. Those testimonials have have put a little pep in my step. Keeping an integrity, even when it costs you something or everything, right? So we started growing. And the first year was a lot of the food journaling, the things like that. And I just did my thing, right? Now, phase 2, I really was focusing on the plant-based medicine and the edible format. And what I know how to do really well is to make delicious Southern food. Feeding people is my love language. It is also my creative outlet. It is exactly my soul's purpose. There's nothing that I honestly, there's no activity, there's nothing that I like to do more than to create amazing, delicious foods for people. When I see somebody bite into something that I've made and do a little happy dance, it just like expands my vibration by 1,000,000%. So when people started liking all of the things that we offered, and then the angels, guides, and helpers kept saying, hey, you're doing all the things, but something kept telling me, and people kept asking me, I need this, I need this, I need this. And God said, hey, you are a healer and the foods you're making are delicious, but we have to figure out a more healthy delivery method. And I have been battling this for about the last 6 months. A lot of you that have been here know that. We are, and I get these messages from people in my DMs, and this is the problem I'm having, and I want to share it with everybody here. And I've talked about this ad nauseum in the last couple of months, and I'm going to talk about it again. And y'all saw the cut list, lots of things on the cut list. Keeping your integrity even when it costs you something or everything. Hometown Hippie is my sole source of income. My business is now exactly how I live in this world. And there are a lot of big question marks, right, all around everything in this thing right now. I get messages whenever I change things up. For example, taking off, when I close the new customer base, like the new healing client list, that people are here for the thing. A lot of people are here for that. And I get DMs saying, can you please stop with all of the nonsense? Just post what you have for sale. Make it easy for me to find the edibles that I want and the things that I want. And then I don't need the rest of this nonsense, basically, right? Or people walking in off the street looking for a party, and that's not what we are. And if I wanted to step outside of my integrity, I could just be free for all and see what happens. Whenever we change things in January, I had to step out in faith and step out in trust. And I did a little tweaking, right? Just move some things around. Second quarter, April 1st, a lot more things are changing. A lot of things are going away off of that menu. We're adding some sugar-free and all this things in. Heather says, thank you, Source and Tammy. I need the healthier options. There are thousands of people who don't know what they need. Us, by example, can spread the word, and the people who don't belong will fall away. I'm here because of the integrity. And I know that you are, and I love you for that. But the fear, when, I'm like, I have my family to support, and now I have 3 full-time employees and their families that depend on my decisions. And that is scary. And it makes it easy to step outside of integrity for people to trust you and just to have what they want. Just say, here's what you want. Here's what it is. This pays the bills. But I know with all that is in me that I have to step up and walk and I have to keep in my integrity, even when it costs me something or everything. And I will tell you, the first week that we changed things up in January, I have never been more afraid in all of my life. We were slow. I'm talking a Friday with not one single solitary order. Not one. Not one order. Not one order. And I did not react. It was a pop quiz from the universe, right? It was a pop quiz from the universe. Do you trust? Do you walk in faith? So I'm going to ask every single one of you to help me hold space as we change this next quarter, and we do a little bit more changing. We say the garden weeds itself. However, it's very scary because, the garden weeds itself. And while there's weeds in the garden, there's no room for growth. The flowers can't bloom when they're weeded out. And sometimes pulling the weeds out of the garden allows room for more of our beautiful flowers to grow. So I need your help, right? I need you to make sure that you're telling our like-minded friends, because it is the livelihood of our community. It's how I pay the bills. It's how I keep things going. And it's scary. In this uncertain time, I am so afraid that every decision that I make is the one that ends it all. I feel like the weight of the world is sitting squarely upon my shoulders. And it's scary. It's overwhelming sometimes. I have a lot of people with a lot of opinions, and I feel like an ass for not listening sometimes. I'm like, I have to just keep my blinders on. I have to keep my earmuffs on. And what I heard after that, right, keeping your integrity, even when it costs you something or everything, is the true idea of walking in trust and walking in faith. And it's like, if you are faithful and you are bold, my child, right, and you stop putting your wants in front of the highest and best of the collective, you are going to see the expansion that you have never seen before. It's hard making those decisions when someone else is depending on you. It is. It is. That is why my team has to be Reiki certified. That is why I have to fill out energy and vibes. And two things can be true. You can love somebody to the ends of the earth, and they'll not be the right person for this, or the right person for that, or the right person for that over there. Right now, I've talked to the team. We don't have help right now. And I am standing in faith and in trust. And I said, we're going to do what we can do with us right this moment. We are going to stand in faith, and we're going to walk in trust that we know all is going to be well and all is going to be in divine time. And as y'all know, I had my clairaudience, going back to that. Everybody hurts sometimes. So God was saying to me, it's okay. Right now, you need to shed these tears. Tuesday is the new moon. New moon, and Monday is the spring equinox. It is a time of expansion. It is a time of awakening. It is a time of making room for all those things you're going to manifest in this next cycle. So if you are struggling today with all the things I talked about, if you are struggling with stepping, with holding on to the things that you don't forgive yourself, but you forgive others for, I'm going to encourage you today to go outside, step in the dirt, plant your feet firmly, look up to the sky, and just let go and let God. Allow it to the sun to recharge you. Allow the energy of the earth to ground you back to it. Stand in your I am power and your root chakra and be grounded and centered. Say, I am grounded and I am centered today, right? Reclaim that. Allow yourself forgiveness. Right? Know that the divine in me recognizes the divine in you. And that means that we are both of God. We are both of divinity. And you deserve love for no other reason than just being here today. And that love is not about other people loving you and about looking for that thing. Well, if other people love me, then I must be worthy of it. Because I'm going to tell you right now that until you love yourself, that is the love that you need to be worthy of. The only love that matters is your self-love, because when you love yourself, you project that and you know that other people love you. And I knew that when I was struggling this last couple of weeks, right? I knew when I've been struggling these last couple of weeks. And it's interesting that Sheila's here today. She's been on my mind hard the last couple of days. I've really been like, I brought you in. I was just like sending you some love the other day. You can ask, I was like, we need to stop what we're doing right now and send some heart energy out. I just sent you some heart energy out the other day. When I stopped putting my wants and needs in front of what's highest and best for the collective, that's what I'm doing right now. Right? I might get asked, Tammy, we have bills to pay. What are you thinking? I said, every time we have stepped out in faith, every time we have walked in trust, every time we have said, it's okay. All will be well. Trust me. And if you could ask all the people that have been in this building that have worked with me or for me or whatever, whenever I say, do you trust me? I have a plan. I have a plan. Do you trust me? And I told them, I said, here's the thing, right? I am the leader. I am the leader, right? I'm the leader of the pack right now in this building. I am the leader. And I told them, I was like, you don't have to do anything more than trust me. Like, you don't think about, I have to trust something bigger than that. But in this situation, I need each and every one of you just to trust me. Right? And then I want you to start trusting yourself. Like, first, trust somebody else. Because that's really hard for us, right? And that's the thing, right? It's hard for us to trust people because we've been programmed not to. So it's very hard to trust other people, let alone trust in ourselves. Because again, we'll give other people we'll project all the things on other people. But so I tell y'all, trust me now. I want you to trust yourself. Trust your intuition. Know that it's going to be okay. And I'm going to step out in this next quarter. We're going to see a lot of changes and a lot of things happening. And a lot of the things we talked about with the catering and the food truck, I'm keeping it small right now. And I'm learning. And that's what God said, stop and be still. We're getting ready to open up this next chapter. And it's all in divine time. You have to trust. You have to walk in faith. And somebody else here needs to hear this message today. So as we end up today, I want you all to know that you are an amazing group of human beings. Every single person who shows up to these, who comes into our community is our community is amazing. Tammy, you've been such a blessing to my mother who has never even met you. Just keep standing on what you know. I love y'all for that. I love you for that. I am going to roll into spring with the spring equinox. And I want to talk about that real quick because I do have some notes I need to share on that. We're going to talk about that on our Zoom. So after this, we're going to be doing a Zoom. We're not doing the root chakra healing attunement today because I'm not in integrity right now. I am not able to do that. The reason we're doing this workshop, the reason that I've been struggling is because Source said to me, this is for everyone, including you. And so I am going to do a new moon and spring equinox little thing today. I am going to be working on the root chakra attunement and opening. We may do that this week live. It just may be a Zoom, and then we'll go live for the community. Something is telling me that the last group healing attunement needs to be something that everybody needs. So we're going to do that, but I'm still working on it. And Ego was like, you promised. Like, I didn't promise. I said, we're going to try to do this. It's a workshop. And we said it was at the pace it needed to be at. So root chakra is still being rooted on. So we're still working on that root chakra before we can do that last 2-minute move on. So that's where we're at. So as we walk into Monday, which is the spring equinox, it is the Astara, which is the goddess for that. It's also spring. It's about fertility and rebirth and the blooming of things and the coming of spring and the awakening after the long, dark winter and kind of the waking up and coming out of your slumber. Imagine yourself a bear coming out of hibernation. And that's how I'm seeing it. It's like God's like, Tammy, we're just coming out of the winter. That was your slow time, right? So for the spring equinox, some things that you can do. So it says waking from the winter rest is what we're doing. Waking from the winter rest. Get out, start planting your seeds. Watching the sunrise is a beautiful thing to do in the spring. Stand out in the dirt, get your grounding on while the sun is rising. Beautiful time to do that. Sing to your plants and in nature. Like I don't know what it has been lately. I've been singing loud. So like Elf, like the best way to spread the cheer is singing loud for all to hear. I've just been singing out loud. So sing to your plants, sing to nature. Spring cleaning, right? Spring cleaning out the winter fog. I know Sheila loves some sunrises. Cleaning out the winter cobwebs. I'm going to spend the next couple of weeks really kind of purging and cleaning and all the things. Create new goals or projects and get outside. So as you go into the spring equinox, those are some things you can do. Now we are going to pull our crystal affirmation card for today. I have a little message here. Let's see what that is, because my sister sent me a message. Bring eggs home, please. I was like, okay. So we are going to pull. Oh, well, this card just jumped out of the deck. I don't even know what it is. Movement. I'm pulling. Yes. Can I ask that everyone is sending healing prayers, love out today? Can y'all please add my sister Cheryl, my mother, and my family? My sister is transitioning. She is end-stage cancer. We've been holding space for Melanie and her family. So if we could all kind of send some whoosh out energy for Melanie, I'd appreciate it. Her son's birthday is the 25th. He would have been 20 this year. A lot of emotions hurt going right now, so he can help. Greatly appreciate it much. Yes, we've got you, Melanie. We're sending love out. I want you to really journal around that this week, or really journal around all of those emotions this week. And I want you to find the connections to all of that. Just find the connections to all of that. I really feel that there is some connections to all of those things. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Cheryl's going to go take care of Bubba. I know that I can see it already in heaven. He is whole in heaven. And his body is full, and he needs somebody there to help, hang out with him. And it's not your time that you got to take care of the girls. He is saying that, this is okay if I share this, Melanie? I've not had mediumship work come in before, but he is here. Is it okay if I share this? I can do it offline with you if you'd like me to. He definitely wants you to stay here and give the girls all the love you gave him. That's what he wants. You just give the girls all the love you gave him, and he's going to take care of his aunt, and they're going to have a good time, and it's all good. Okay? That's all I'm going to say right now. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. The card that came up is movement. This card jumped out. It's spring. It's about movement. Look at the water. That reminds me, and look at those little snaky poos right there. See those little serpents, the movement? The movement of all of the things, right? Movement, transition into spring, movement. Movement says, this marker reminds you that all things change as a part of the cycle of life. This may portend a physical move, or it heralds a release from restriction or waiting. Rejoice, for changes in the air and new things are about to enter your world. This puts you on notice that it's time to be brought to broaden your horizons as you move forward on your path. You may travel to new and foreign places, both physically and inwardly. It is fortunate and timely to do so. Nothing is ever meant to be static or in the way of the living mystery. Movement brings challenges that must not be resisted, For progress can only be made by letting go of what was and welcoming what is and what is yet to come. This marker is always an omen of change for the better. It is not wonderful. I do not like it. Heather Johns, I do not like it. And it has been happening a lot lately. And I do not like it. Honestly, Melanie, I'm going to let you know if it had to be somebody. I'm glad it's Bubba because he's very sweet. And he is whole. And he is happy. And he is happy to be whole in his body. And not needing anybody to feed him or, as he says, wipe his ass. That's not what he wanted, how he wanted to live his incarnation in this time. But it's all good. He is whole in his body, and I do not like it. And I do not like it. It still freaks me out a lot. But I'm going to work on that, and I'm going to be okay with that. And honestly, it's coming interestingly because a lot of people, when they step into their mediumship powers, they get like quadrants and these little things. Because I'm so afraid of it and don't love it, it's always been gentle souls who want to like show up just as they are. Like, hey, it's Bubba. Tell Mama I said. So it's not even like a question. It's just like, hey, this is what I need you to tell Mom. And it's people that I know. So it's really, that's even weirder. I'll tell y'all a story over when you get here about Peace, Love, and Feast Fest. That'll freak y'all out a little bit. I'm not gonna tell it online because it's something local and it's just a big deal. And it's a lot. So, it's interesting that that movement card is what got pulled today for us from like I wanted to pull this card today before I got on here. I was told to pull one of each. Actually, I had them all out. So that was our Avalon card. And then I was told to go ahead and pull a motivational daily affirmation card as well. And then our crystal card. I smudged these today and cleansed them and recharged the energy on these today. And movement was a big one about spring, right? About how you have to get in motion. We're coming out of that slumber from the winter. So we're going to pull this is the card that's popped out. And this is interesting when you're talking about standing in integrity and all of the things. And we talk about how you can't make this stuff up, right? You can't make this stuff up. Movement about spring equinox, how we need to get out and get inside of our bodies and really figure out like how to get moving and cleaning and coming out and waking up from the winter and kind of getting moving and going, right? The only approval I need is my own, right? The only approval that I need is my own. And that is a great card today, talking about how we need to recognize the divine in ourselves. We have to know what we are, love and accept ourselves, right? Love and accept ourselves. Oh, look, Grace brings some new stuff. Perfect. Beautiful. I'm going to get out of here so I don't keep getting these messages. So the only approval I need is my own. So I want you all to know that if you're looking externally for your own approval, for others' approval, you don't need anyone's approval but your own. The only approval you need is your own. Hey, Grace. Movement, right? And then we are going to pick our daily crystal card, our weekly affirmation crystal card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And our card today, we have not had this one before. Not in a good long while. We've been getting a lot of the same ones. Girl, I know. Aren't they crazy? Heather's been pulling our crystal cards. Okay, y'all. You can't make this shit up, right? Movement, trust yourself, and then chrysophrase. Allow yourself to receive. Allow yourself to receive. And before I open the book, we started off today with allowing yourself the ability to receive love from yourself, allowing yourself to receive the same love of divinity and recognizing the divinity in yourself. I'm anxious to see what this card says about allow yourself to receive. I don't think I've ever had the Chrysler phrase. I've had the Chrysler Kala, or the Crystal Kala, but we've never had the Chrysler phrase, right? That's the hard part. It is the hard part. It's the part that matters, though, right? It's do the hard thing. And that's interesting that you said that's the hard part, because when I wrote down keeping in your integrity, even when it costs you something or everything, last night, Andy Stanley was talking about how when you do what's right, when it's the hard part, that's when you know that you've kind of like, you've done something, right? When you can stand in integrity, even when it's hard, that is true integrity. That is walking in trust and walking in faith, right? That is what that is all about. So Christopher phrase, shit, y'all. The first line of this, it can sometimes be easier to give than to receive. But receiving help from others is a necessary component of a healthy lifestyle. Open up to receiving as much as you give. Remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup. It says the words, you cannot pour from an empty cup in this book on this crystal. There has to be a balance between give and take in all of your relationships, whether it's with friends, family, or coworkers. If you notice yourself feeling guilty or uneasy when others give to you, shift your attitude so you can embrace what they have to offer. Core questions. Where do you give more than you receive? What feelings cause you to do so? What shifts can you make to create a more balance in your relationships? Right? What can you do to have more balance in those relationships? Affirm. I allow myself to receive. Today, say thank you without hesitation or deflection to all compliments that come your way. And that's a big one, right? That's where it starts. It starts with things as simple as that, right? When someone says, you look great today, what is your response? Oh, what? Me? I look awful. I didn't put any makeup on. My hair's not even done. I didn't even have my earrings in. It has green heart energy. It does. Love yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. You're as just as much to be loved as you are to give love, right? Receive and give and receive. Give as much as take as much as you give. And it's okay to have that exchange of energy. So as we move into the next phase, this next spring is sprunging, right? Spring is sprunging. The new quarter is coming. All the things are happening. Move into that with a movement, right? Move into that. Literally move your body into that. Get up in the mornings. Walk outside. Take 3 giant deep inhales through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. 3 cleansing breaths with your feet in the dirt, watching the sunrise, walking in your yard, getting your hands in the dirt, planting some seeds. Get moving, right? Get up and get moving. Remember, right, that you only need your approval from you, right? Don't allow the negativity of the world to seep in, and know that when you are standing in your integrity, when you are walking in your integrity, the only need approval is your own. The only approval you need is your own. When you are walking in integrity, you only need your own approval. Let no one take you outside of your integrity. Let that be something that no one can take you outside of. No one can take you outside of your integrity. And remember, allow yourself the ability to receive the love that you give. It is hard, but you all have taught me how to receive love. You have taught me how to say, I deserve the love that you give me, and I appreciate y'all very much. Oh, Melanie. She said, what you said hit very hard. I only told my mother this, but this is a safe place for me, and I feel the need to say this now. I told her, was it for my other children and my grandchildren that I love with all my heart, that I would trade places with my sister in a second, not to see her go through the pain she is. I'm not afraid and would love to see my son again, but I know this is not my path, my journey, and I'm supposed to be exactly where I'm comforted knowing that she is going to be with him. I'm going to guess I didn't see the rest of that because it goes down and I can't see the rest of it. That's all I can see. I'll go back and look at that. Melanie, I'm sorry I had to, I'm hoping that you enjoyed that message, but he is whole and he is ready to meet his aunt and he knows she's coming. Um, he knows it's not your time. He doesn't want you there. He's like, you have taken care of me enough, Ma. Go out and do you, boo. Like, go out and do you, boo. It's okay. I want you to. It's all good, right? And that's what he wants. And honor that. Honor his yeah. Honor me in life, not in death, is what he said. Honor me in life by living your life. I do not like mediumship. I do not like mediumship. It's very heavy. It feels like there's like I feel like I'm in there's G's pushing against me. So it's just the veil. Plus, we're coming to the equinoxes, and I know that anytime that there's a changing of this season and stuff, that the veil is thin, and that's where we're at. Sorry, y'all. I just had to get my stress about me. We've gone over. It's 111 with 11 people watching. So, it's our angel numbers. I love each and every one of you. I hope that each and every one of you love yourself. Go out today and know that everybody hurts sometimes, right? Everybody hurts sometimes, and it's okay. Allow yourself to feel the feelings. Know that when you step out in integrity, that you have to step out in trust and you have to step out in faith. Today was a big one. I appreciate y'all for being here with me today. I hope that somebody walked away with what needed to walk away with. I will post the Zoom link for the membership here in just a few minutes. I'm going to step away, get my bearings, fix some water, get set back up in here. We are going to start our spring equinox and our new moon meditation at noon. If you are in the membership, we hope you will show up. We're workshopping it. I also wanted to say that here in the Zen if you are local, if you are local and you are invited to the Reiki gatherings, which if you've taken Reiki, you are, I am going to open up the Zen for Reiki gatherings for our study hall so we can work together. I also got some big news we'll talk about at Peace, Love, and Feast Fest. Some big fun things happening at Peace, Love, and Feast Fest. We are stepping into the spring in faith. We are stepping into the spring with trust. We are stepping into the spring, I feel, in integrity. Not everybody's going to love what I have to do differently. I have some different things to do. Everybody wants you to be everything, but I can't be everything to everybody. I have to only worry about the approval of myself. This is my, this is where I have to get outside of my head and do the things. I appreciate each and every one of you. I love each and every one of you. I cannot wait to be in a space with all of this energy that's coming into town. The things that I'm going to do here, that we're going to do here together, are going to be important. I have lots of workshops coming up for Peace, Love, and Feast Fest. I hope that it is to the highest and best of everyone. That is the intentionality of it. And I'm just going to stand on the fact that it's in integrity and everyone's going to love it. So we're going to get off of here today. We're going to do our Peace, Love, and Feast in just a second. But I want y'all to know I would love to attend today. I am going to be there in the Zen more now than I can. And late hugs, Melanie. I love you. I love y'all. We're glad you're here. I will post the Zoom link in the Hometown Hippie page for the membership. If you would like to attend, you're not in the membership today, message me. You can pay for this the day. We can do that. We are going to do spring equinox, new moon, talking about what the new moon is and coming into the spring. We're going to talk about the root chakra with that and where we are with that, why we're not doing what we're doing today. So I will see y'all at about noon. I will be posting the Zoom link. And as always, everybody, peace, love, and feast. And as always, y'all, stay elevated. Have a great Sunday, and I'll see you at noon. Deuces.